The Department of State Service, the DSS, has uncovered a plot by suspected terrorists to bomb Kano and some northern states during the Salah celebration. This is coming after the arrest of one Bashir Muhammad, an explosive expert and the mastermind behind the planned attack. Well, according to the service, the suspect had planned to bomb soft targets such as markets, public parks, public processions, recreation centers and even worship centers during the forthcoming Salah celebration. How far are the worshippers? How safe are they during this Eid festival? What strategies are the government forces taking to checkmate the insurgents? Data feeds are coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media platforms, channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. You can follow us right now on m.channelstv.com. We've got all our platforms and social media covered. Be part of the show. Tweet at Gimba Umar CTV. Use the hashtag State of the Nation to air your thoughts on the subject. A federal high court in Abuja has dismissed a suit challenging the nomination and subsequent election of Governor Aminu Tambuwal of Sokoto State. Justice Gabriel Kolawole, who delivered the judgment, said that the case brought before the court by Senator Umar Dahiru lacked merit. Also, the Supreme Court had ordered a member of the House of Representatives, Mr. Herman Hamby, to vacate his post immediately and ordered a return of all salaries and benefits collected by him while in office to the federal government within 90 days. He represents Bandikwa and Koshisha Federal Constituency of Benue State. The court has also ruled that Hamby should be replaced by Mrs. Dorothy Mato, who has been declared the rightful winner of the All Progressives Congress ticket for that constituency. Now, Nigeria's Vice President is now the acting President, Yemi Osinbajo, on Monday met with leaders of the National Assembly and later with some governors on the heels of consolidating on the gains of unity as a country. The acting President will have no one go against the unity of the country. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. I'll be speaking to Liboris Oshoma. He's a human rights activist and a lawyer. He's in our Lagos studios, and in our Abuja studios we'll be talking to Garba Ibrahim. He's a social commentator as well. We're going to have two of them in just a moment. You're watching State of the Nation. It's prime time in Lagos. The show starts now. Welcome everyone in Nigeria and the rest of the world. This is State of the Nation. I am Gimba Umar. Right behind me you can still see data feeds are coming through all in one place simultaneously on all our social media platforms. Be part of the show. Tweet at Gimba Umar CTV. Use the hashtag State of the Nation to air your thoughts. The unity of Nigeria is again tested with recent developments concerning hate speeches by a group from the north seen as a response by social commentators when agitators from the eastern part of the country observed a sit-at-home order by Nnamdi Kanu. The acting president has taken deliberate actions to stop the agitations from sprouting, saying that you can tell when it all starts but never know when it will end, and strongly believes in the unity of the country. We're going to start talking about that. Garba Ibrahim is in our Abuja studios. He's a social commentator. He joins us from there, as well as Liboris Oshoma. It's a human rights activist who's with me in the studios here. I want to thank you so much indeed, gentlemen, for coming on the show. Let's start with you in Abuja. You have heard about the mindset in the north. Is it in a manner, we should say, that tells the Igbos, for instance, you should leave the north by October? Is that line pretty much potent, do you think?
Let me start by saying good evening to Nigerians and viewers, particularly our brothers that are fasting. We're almost rounding up. Let me say Ramadan Mubarak. Gimba, you know very well that it is a very, very wrong statement. But instead of looking at it, whether it is right or wrong, we should first look at it from a different angle, which is more of a reaction to what has been going on over time. Nevertheless, it wasn't a proper reaction. Personally, I condemned such a kind of ultimatum, such pronouncement in the first place, because we should not just think of having control over what our own mindset or our own minds. You might say something openly, but you might not know what it might actually trigger out there. This has been, or this is my concern. My fellow youths from the north that actually took to that position actually did not do enough consultation. We understand, yes, they have their reasons. They base their own line of argument on what has been going on from the southeast, which we understood that very well. But you should look at the north. The sensitivity or the volatility in the north cannot be compared to what we have in the southeast. What am I saying? We might have a kind of situation in the southeast whereby probably no matter what kind of agitation, they have control over their own kind of leadership. But down here, once you make a pronouncement, you wouldn't know who is the first person to call the shots. So before you know it, the street will take it, and you're going to spark like a kind of a gunpowder that before you know it, everywhere will respond. And trust me, the volatility in the north again is such a particular one that even when you say you want to give people ultimatum, you should know that the people that are going to respond on the streets are not people like you and I. These are people that have been waiting for a situation like this because of frustration, because of lack of, the economic situation is quite, so bad that they cannot even provide their own meals. So what do you expect?
Okay, let me butt in here at this moment. My apologies. Let me just butt in here just so that we can have a very good conversation. Liboris is also here. When he says that the volatility is quite high in the north and also having some part of that in the southern part of the country, that has actually brought about the popular word now, which is restructuring. Where do we start to restructure from, or how do we define the word restructuring?
I think what is happening now is actually good for Nigeria. Also is a pointer to the fact that Nigeria and Nigerians lack leadership. And so to that extent, people are yearning for leadership.
So this is a result of bad governance?
Yes. Before now, you had transformation. It became an agenda, a slogan. Then you had change. It became a slogan. Now, a lot of people are realizing now that it was just a slogan. The same way, some people are gradually holding on to that slogan. They've started another one, restructuring. Atiku started it, but it's been hijacked from him. And so, what is happening?
Has been hijacked from him?
Yes.
How?
It's now almost everywhere. Restructuring. But you need to ask the question, what are we restructuring? Are we restructuring the mind, or are we restructuring leadership? Are we restructuring followership? So until we understand what we want to restructure, the problem is not the physical structure. If we've had good leadership, quality leadership, in spite of what we have, you would still have been, the ordinary man on the street would still have been able to benefit from quality leadership. Is it the structure that we have that deprives the local government chairman from providing, the little that is given to him? Or is it that makes the governor not to provide the basic necessities of life? What we should be asking for is, let's, even in restructuring, first and foremost, how do we ensure that the people truly participate as part of the government? Processes of recall, processes of even voting in our leaders. How can we truly say, because the only way we participate in government is through our term, but do our vote count here? The answer is no. And so if your votes do not count, if you like, come with all the slogans in the world, we'll still end up the way we are. We'll come 2019, it will still be one other slogan.